In Part 4 of Lecture 1, we will look at a larger example with decisions. The general form for declaring constants is very similar to that we use for declaring variables with an initial value. The difference is that I put the word final in front. That means that that's the final value it will have. It cannot change again. In general form written out this way would be final, data type, constant name equals constant value, another constant name equals another constant value. They are separated by commas and they end with a semicolon. You can see some other examples here. Final double withholding rate equals 0.8. Final char prompt equals single quote y single quote. The single quotes are used for a single character, not for a string of characters. Final string answer equals quote yes unquote semicolon. And notice here, unlike the single character, double quotation marks. Final int max name equals 15, comma, inch per foot equals 12. And final int speed limit equals 55. In a large number of occasions, if there is an if statement or an if-else statement, there may very well be more than one statement that you want to do if the condition is true, or conversely, if the condition is false. To make sure that both of these statements are included as part of the else or as part of the if, what we can do is put braces around it. If you take a look at the slide, you'll see in the second portion of it, else open brace, kilograms equals pounds divided by pounds per kilogram. System out println, the weight is kg kilograms. There is an open brace before calculating kilograms. There is a closed brace after printing it. That means that both of these statements are performed at this point. The braces before and after serve the same purpose as the collection of statements that are indented after a colon in a Python program. In Java, as in C and C++ and several other languages, a statement can be spread over multiple lines, and conversely, you can have more than one statement on a line, although it is considered extremely bad style. In the programs that we have looked at so far, we have seen many occasions where there is an open brace and somewhere below a closed brace. Anything appearing between an open brace and a closed brace is considered part of a block. Most blocks that we will see for an if statement, and for loops, which we will be talking about a little later, we can have braces there with statements in between, just as we might have, let's say, a statement there. In the example you see here, if x is greater than y, system out println x is larger, max equals x, you'll notice that there's not one but two statements that I do if x is actually greater than y. Without those braces there, we would print that x is larger, but we would not set max equal to y. We're going to look at something of a real-world example, calculating the automobile insurance premium based on the driver's age and the number of accidents that the driver has had. This is a little bit like real life. It's not entirely like it, because for those of you who live on Long Island, you'll recognize that the insurance premiums are probably far lower than you're going to face. In our example, we are going to assume a basic insurance charge of $500. If the driver is under 25, there's going to be a surcharge of an extra $100. And at the same time, regardless of the driver's age, there will be an additional surcharge based on the number of accidents. If it's one accident, it will be $50. For two accidents, $125. 3 accidents, $225. 4 accidents, $375, 5 accidents, $575, 6 or more accidents, and you're not getting insured by the company that we're looking at in this example. A quick look at the description of the problem tells us that the inputs that we are going to have available to us that will affect the final charge will be the number of accidents and the driver's age. It's equally clear that the required output in this case is the insurance charge overall. Let's start looking at the program that we will write. Again, as always, we begin with import Java util scanner, and we'll have a header for the class, public class car insurance, and then an open brace, and then we will have a comment that describes the program. A program to calculate insurance premiums based on the driver's age and accident record. We now have the header for the main method, public static void main, and in parentheses, string open close bracket args, and after the close parenthesis, we have an open brace to begin the main method. We will declare a scanner object, scanner keyboard equals new scanner, open parenthesis, system.in, close parenthesis, semicolon. We will define as a constant the basic rate by writing final double basic rate equals 500. And the output will be the rate, and we declare it here double rate semicolon. Now we're going to have a few additional variables. Int age comma num accidents semicolon. Int age surcharge equals 0 comma accident surcharge equals 0. We've grouped the integer variables in this way because there's a natural connection between the two pairs. Boolean error equals false, too many equals false. These two would be reasons not to produce a final charge. We now have a comment that tells us input driver's age and number of accidents. And after that, we have our inputs. System.out.println, open parenthesis, quote, how old is the driver, question mark, close quote, close parenthesis, semicolon. And then age equals keyboard dot, next int, open close parenthesis, semicolon. System.out.println, open parenthesis, quote, how many accidents has, close quote, plus, quote, the driver had, question mark, close quote, close parenthesis, semicolon. It's written this way so we can split the prompt onto two separate lines. This is necessary on the slide to avoid having wraparound that can be misleading, but that's the only purpose that it serves. Num accidents equals keyboard dot next int open close parenthesis semicolon. Now let's determine if there's an age surcharge. If age is less than 0, error equals true. Ages can't be negative. Else if age is less than 25, so it's going to be anywhere from 0 to 25, age surcharge equals 100. Else age surcharge equals 0. Next, let's determine if there is a surcharge for accidents. If num accidents is less than 0, error equals true. Else if num accidents is equal to 0, accident surcharge equals 0. Else if num accidents equals 1, accident surcharge equals 50. Else if num accidents equals 2, accident surcharge equals 125. Else if num accidents equals 3, accident surcharge equals 225. Else if num accidents equals 4, accident surcharge equals 375. Else if num accidents equals 5, accident surcharge equals $5.75, else too many equals true. At this point, we've determined if there is an age surcharge, and if there is an accident surcharge, and if so, how much is it? It's time to print the charges. Now, we're not going to simply print the final result, because in any case like this in real life, the user would want to see exactly what the breakdown is. So that's what we'll do here. We begin with a comment, print the charges. If error, system out println, there has been an error in the data that you supplied. Else if too many, system out println, you have had too many accidents for me to insure you. And again, we break it in both cases into 3 strings so that we can maintain the right indentation, and at the same time, it can all fit on one line on the slide as you see here. If you had this all as one long quote and it fit on the line on your screen, that would be fine. Else, system out println, the basic charge is $, and then afterwards, basic rate. If surcharge is greater than 0, system out println, there is an extra surcharge of the number of $, age surcharge, and then afterwards, because the driver is under 25. Let's deal with the accident surcharge if there is one. If accident surcharge is greater than 0, system out println, open parenthesis, quote, there is an extra, unquote, plus, quote, surcharge of $, unquote, plus accident surcharge, plus, quote, because the driver had, unquote, plus num accidents, plus, quote, accidents, unquote, close parenthesis, semicolon. Rate equals basic rate, plus age surcharge, plus accident surcharge. Now we know the final rate list printed. System out println, the total charge is $, unquote, plus rate. 1 close brace for the if statement, or the else to be more accurate. 1 to close the main method and 1 to close the class.